all the other integrations, that we do have both connectors and activity packs. So for SAP SuccessFactors, we have an activity pack that is available on the UiPath marketplace, but also directly through Studio. And it provides the key integrations for all of the SAP SuccessFactors modules except payroll. And in order to integrate, you have activities in order to execute a function, get a record, insert a record, update a record, delete a record, and search records. Anubhav will show you how these work in real life and how to use and implement them. And the different use cases, some of the example use cases for that are updating a job requisition. So for example, if you have information that you want to transfer from an Excel spreadsheet to an SAP SuccessFactors, that is typically quite tedious manual work, or you could do that through UI automation. But with the activity pack, you can ensure that you are able to upload really large volumes of records and of data without affecting the performance of the system at all, which in this case with a SaaS product, it's quite obvious. If you have a lot of robots run on that cloud product, then that could affect the performance. That's different with our native integrations. There, you're able to also upload or change or create huge loads of data without affecting the performance of the system. Another use case is adding candidates to a requisition, so automatically assigning candidates or a set of candidates or several candidates to one requisition. Typically, you need to do that one by one or through the UI, and you can now do that with a native integration as well. So what are some other use cases that can be explored and that are typical for HR automation? So for the different modules, so for example, for recruiting and onboarding, I already mentioned two of those, but also so for example, shortlisting candidates, scheduling interviews, but also managing job postings and requisitions are some of the areas where our customers prefer to automate. But also an extremely beneficial process is obviously onboarding, because there are so many systems involved in that. Creating new accounts, assigning permissions, ordering equipment, all of that can actually be kicked off or integrated with SAP SuccessFactors. Then we have on the learning side, filing the learning certificates, sharing information, and congratulating people who just finished a training, or identifying appropriate candidates for trainings and assigning trainings to certain people. On the performance management side, there is, for example, several approval processes, but also, combining a process that runs both in SuccessFactors as well as in Slack or via email to send out reminders, but also updating and creating reportings in PowerPoint and Excel and calculating compensation. Then exit management is pretty much the opposite of onboarding. So there are also a lot of tasks that are involved both within SAP SuccessFactors, but also in various other systems. So when automating that, you're really reducing the potential of errors that could be costly in the future, or where you could have legal issues. Then definitely on the core HR side, so employee central, employee management, the core employee data, there's also a lot that can actually be automated, specifically when it comes to data consistency across several systems, master data management, but also just regular data entry, data update, and specific processes that check for compliance with new regulations that might be in place. So whenever regulations change, that's also something where you can use robots for checking compliance, or different types of reportings across the board. So we brought a process with us that is actually one of the favorite ones, which is onboarding. So this process is really very often implemented, obviously in different flavors, because every process for onboarding is different across different companies. But something that is very typical is that there are a lot of steps with a lot of different systems involved. And in our case, we kick off the process by getting a report of all the new hires. And then we create entries for all these new hires in Active Directory. And we add employees to the Slack channels according to their different roles and groups that they belong to. We can then order equipment and access IDs, which would be done, for example, through ServiceNow. We create a ticket to get specific user IDs, or we create a ticket in Coupa and a purchase request or purchase order in order to order the new equipment for new employees. So these, as I said, these processes are different across companies, but they're always very long-running processes, and there is a lot of activity both in SAP SuccessFactors, but also in other systems involved. And yeah, now I will hand over to Anubhav, our product family expert, and he will walk you through SAP SuccessFactors and some of these steps as well.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
Welcome.
All right. So like Tanya already mentioned, that this is one of the most common use case that you will see when it comes to SAP SuccessFactor. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to actually build and showcase a fragment of this particular use case. And in this particular fragment, what we are going to do is we are going to get the report of the new hires from the SAP SuccessFactor. Basically, we are going to get all the candidates and then filter out the candidates which are actually eligible for onboarding. And then for those candidates who are eligible, we will add them to Active Directory and also add them to specific Slack channels as per their roles and departments. Right, so these three pieces are distributed as you can see it here. SAP SuccessFactor. This is something that we are going to work in detail today, and then we will have two other modules, Active Directory and Slack, which will take care of the complete use case end to end. And talking about the things that we are going to build today, we are going to concentrate on only the SAP SuccessFactor activities. So we will start by connecting to SAP SuccessFactor instance, and then we are going to get the requisition details. When we say get the requisition details, we are talking about things like who is the hiring manager, what is the department, which is the business unit. These are the information that will be required to create the Active Directory entry, because the candidate will be reporting to the hiring manager, for example, and the department and business unit will help us in creating the right channels and adding the user to the right channels. The next thing is we are going to get all the job applications that have been come in to this particular job requisition that was listed, and then we are going to filter this particular job application list that we get for only those candidates that have been hired and is on the process of onboarding. Right, so this is something that we are going to work in detail, and then we are going to show the end-to-end workflow by completing the process by adding the modules that are already built to add to the Active Directory, then add to the Slack channels, and then send onboarding guide as well. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to do. And before we begin on the more technical stuff, let's kick off with the Mentimeter. And let me start the Mentimeter first. Let me bring it up on the screen. Give me a second. All right, so folks who are not really aware of Mentimeter, you have to go to menti.com. You can use your cell phone for this. And therein, you will get a place to punch in the code. wherein you can punch the code that is given here: 5694883. Once you punch in this code, you will land up here. I see one person has already joined. The second person has joined as well. Remember, folks, that you are in for a gift as well. If you win, you will get vouchers for the UiPath gift shop, and you can choose your artifacts. You can choose your gift from there. So let's give it a couple of minutes for folks to join in. Just to reiterate, go to menti.com and then punch in the code that you see on your screen: 5694883. All right, I see the count going up. I have 15 folks already joining in. We have got two more. Awesome. We have got 19. Come on, we can do better. 20, 23. It's going to be a good competition. I can feel that.
Yeah.
We have 24 now. Can we get up to 30? Okay, the number keeps going up.
Yeah, ping some peers to join Menti. I see the penguin in the middle.
Yes. 28. So 28 going once, 28 going twice. We have another one. We have 30. All right. Okay, so let me proceed, and let me bring the first question up. Remember, folks, the faster you answer, the more point you collect. Okay. All right. Answer fast to get more points. Here comes the first question. What is not a typical HR use case for automation? Is it onboarding? Is it master data management? Is it birthday parties? Or is it managing certifications? What is not a typical HR use case? 3, 2, 1, time's up. Let's see. Okay. We have a couple of confusion here. We were concentrating on what is not. All right, so 23 folks have got it right. For folks who haven't got it right, let's see if you can get the next one right. All right, so the next question is coming up on your screen. Let me start. Answer fast to get more points. SAP SuccessFactor native integration is a way to call UiPath robots from SAP SuccessFactor, prepackaged activities that allows users to call a SuccessFactors API from UiPath, or it's a way to find your path to success. 3, 2, 1, time's up. Okay. Okay, 5 people are thinking that this is kind of a nirvana zone. Sorry folks, that's not. It's still technical. And we have 24 right answers, so that's a good thing. A way to call UiPath robots from SAP SuccessFactors? No. If we have something like this, we call them connectors. When you talk about native integrations, activity packages is generally a set of activities that is there in your UiPath Studio to make those calls. All right. So far, let's see who is in the leaderboard. All right. Anthony is leading the chart with 1890 points. We have on the second place Orkun, and then we have Hare Krishna on the third spot. And fret not, you will get another chance towards the end to change that leaderboard altogether. So let's go on to the things that we need to do today. uh, for that, I have this particular list that is already created. So I already discussed, right? For the demo purposes, we are going to work on the SAP SuccessFactor workflow, and we are going to do all these things. We are going to create a connection to the SAP SuccessFactor. We are going to get the job requisition details, that is hiring manager, department, and business users. And then we are going to get the job application for these requisitions. And then we are also going to filter these applications according to the candidates who are eligible for onboarding, and then we are going to add those users to the Active Directory and Slack channels. All right, we'll keep an eye on this particular list, and let's go back and start working on it. obviously I have a completed workflow, but we are going to work on a blank slate so that we develop the workflow together. All right. So the first thing first, how do we get the success factor activities, right? You go to manage packages, you go to the official feed, and then you search for success factors, right? Once you get this, you can click on this, you can click on install. Obviously I have already installed, and you can click on save. And once you do this, the activities will be available to you on the activities pane. And this will be always under the integrations. Any kind of tech alliance or native integration that we release are going to be released under integrations namespace itself. So you will see all the activities in here, and we are going to talk about these a lot more once we start building on the use case. So the first activity that we wanted to do was to connect to the success factor scope. And for that, I'm just going to drag and drop the success factor activity on the screen. The scope activity. Scope activity basically gives you the access or gives you the connection between the instance that you want to connect to. All right. If we click on the configure button that's provided there, you will see that we can actually do the connection in two ways. One is the basic authentication way, and the other is API key way. For today, we are going to choose the basic authentication way. And then we have to provide all these details. I have these details stored with me, so let me just quickly copy this. This is something that you can get from our official docs as well. So fret not, it's not magic. It's all the details that is accessible to you as well. Not the username password, obviously. Then you can provide the username and obviously the password. Once you do this, it should be able to connect. All right, so it shows connection successful. Let me go back. There is if you can see on your screen, you will see that there is two part of it. One is design time connection, one is robot connection. So what is the difference between these two? The design time configuration, the connection that you provide, is basically something that enables you to from within the activity actually interact with the records in real time with the SAP objects. That is what this is being used for. But when you deploy it, this is actually the configuration that you provide in the robot configuration that is getting used. So here, I'll obviously use the variables. And this will be used to actually run the robots. But in design time, while we design the workflow, this is going to be used to actually work on the real-time data using the activities. The other thing that you see here is called refresh metadata. What is refresh metadata? So SAP SuccessFactors is something, is a place where you can also create your custom objects, and there are multiple things that you can configure in terms of rules, how to access those things. And these metadata is something that is used by the APIs to actually access these objects. And that's what this refresh metadata is all about. Once you test the connection, obviously it downloads the metadata, but after this connection expires, you can refresh the metadata so that any kind of update that has happened to the configurations, you have those access as well. So once you do this, the connection is ready, right? And before I go ahead, I also wanted to talk to you about the two mode of authentication, the basic authentication and the API key. So you may ask a question that can an end user of SAP SuccessFactor just punch in its username and password and access the system? Is it that simple? I'll say no. And the reason behind this is obviously security. You have to explicitly state that this particular user that is part of the SAP SuccessFactor is actually capable of accessing the SuccessFactor via the APIs, right? And for that, let me go back to the system. Obviously, I'll have to log in again. Give me a second. All right, so for any user that that wants to access SAP SuccessFactor via API, there are certain permissions that he or she must have. and I'm going to show you those quickly. All right. First of all, if you want to copy the permissions, you can actually go here, SF API. This is a default API access. You can see in the description, and you can see the permission roles that is provided to it. And I will highlight to you the most important permissions that is kind of like a bare minimum necessity for you to access SAP via API. Okay, let me go to the permissions. All right, so the first permission that we are going to look for will be under general user permission. And in general user permission, apart from normal user login, you should also provide this access, SF API user login. This will help you to actually access the APIs via OAuth, basic authentication. And then there is the second part of it, which is manage integration. Right. This is called manage integration tools. And in here, there is another important permission that you need to provide, which is this one. Allow admin to access OData API through basic authentication. And apart from that, any API related permissions you can provide to expand the capability of the user. This is kind of like a granular control that is there. If you want to just provide option for accessing data dictionary, you can do that. If you are just providing option for attachment import and not export, you have the option split in here, and you get the picture. Similarly, we have access to metadata framework as well. Metadata framework is again related to the, give me a second, is related to the objects of the SAP SuccessFactor. Generally, it is selected completely when you're giving the access, but this is what the configuration looks like. All right, and apart from this, then if you want to control the access based on the modules, let's say a user is only related to recruitment, then you have to make sure that you provide API access to that particular module. That I can do. Sorry, there are a lot of search. Let me do like this. Right. So you have the module level permissions as well. So you can click on recruiting permissions, and then you can provide all the SF API access, whatever is needed for that particular user to access. Right. This is about OAuth access, how you can create a user and give the right permission so that it is able to access your SAP SuccessFactor. And you already saw that there was another method from the API key level. Right. And API key level is also something that you can create in your SAP SuccessFactor. You can go here, you can search for, give me a second, OAuth 2, and you will get something called manage OAuth client applications. And this is where you can register your UiPath client in here. I'm not going to open this because there are keys already created. You can only create, you can create your own, a new one if you want. But this is the application name. This is the application URL that you have to provide. And once you give these details, a key will automatically be generated. And that is the key that you will use in the activities to interact with the SAP SuccessFactor. All right, so these were the two methods that you can use to connect to SAP SuccessFactor. And with that, we are done with the first part. Right. Okay, so let's go to the second part. I have this connection ready. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to get all the details from the requisition, right? And for that, I will go to the Get Record, right? And in here, I will, so all these activities will have this kind of division: category, section, select object. This makes you, this really helps you in categorizing your requests and understanding where your requests are going out to be. And it actually makes it a lot easier for the users to design their solutions. So I know that I'm dealing with recruitment. I can go to the recruitment. I want something around job requisition. That is what I'm going to do. And then I have something around job requisition details. I can use the job requisition, and I will get this. And in here, I have to provide the job requisition ID to get the job requisition out. And for that, what I'm going to do is I'll quickly go to the screen. Let me first show you how it looks on the UI as well. Okay, so in here, you can go to the recruiting part. This is the module that I am interacting with at the moment. All right, and then I'm going to work on management and planning job requisition that is open at the moment. You can see the requisition ID in here, 2700. That is what I'm going to use. And if we go into the details, I told you, right, that in the job requisition, the candidates who are already cleared for onboarding, we are going to get the details of those candidates. That's what we are going to do in here. So let's have a look at this. So in here, you will see that all those candidates are on various levels, various selections phase of the process. But there are two folks who are cleared for onboarding, and it's actually the onboarding is going on at the moment. You can know from the status, right? So we are going to get this for this particular hire. In the next step, right now, we are going to concentrate on getting the information from this particular one. So let's see what all information that is what all information can we get from making this particular request. One of the greatest thing about using UiPath activities is that you get the design time testing features directly inbuilt. You don't have to run it and check. You simply have to call that, and you will get the information out from here itself in the design time. So you see that this is valid command, and this was the ID that was used, and it returned a JSON kind of a response, which I can go ahead and make a more legible format. Let me see. And if I think it's the same that has been loaded. Okay, so this is the job requisition thing. You can see all the information is available, the job ID, the department code that we will be requiring, the location code, the division, the cost center code, and so on and so forth. You get the picture. But we are also looking for hiring manager, right? And if you see the hiring manager, you see that the information is there, but it is not that straightforward. It is actually it is actually stating that the hiring manager information is actually deferred. That is how you read this. Hiring manager information is actually deferred to this particular URI. If you want to get information, do a get call to this particular one. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me open this. This is kind of the get call that we do. Right, and I get the response. If I look for the information, this is again an XML format. So I'll just copy paste. I'll do a pretty print of XML, and then you will see the information. I need the first name and the last name so that I know exactly who is the manager, and that's how I get the manager name out. Right. Same thing goes out for your business unit object and department. Let me take an example for business unit. I can go ahead and do a pretty print paste here. And if I do this, give me a second, you will see the default name. Let me search for default name. Yeah, so this business unit, the person who is getting hired, he will be hired for the products business unit. And similarly, we'll do for department as well. So the calls that we are going to make, it is kind of like a standardized one. It does not change over time. So we can make a call directly to this. But how did we come to know? We came to know because we did the get requisition call first. So without wasting much time, I'll actually just copy and paste this from the original one. These are the three calls that we are going to make: get hiring manager, get department, and get business unit. Right? These are the information that we need out. Obviously, right now they will be throwing out only the response that you saw on the screen, the XML response. Give me a second. Get hiring manager. All right. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, you are here. Obviously, I have copy pasted, so I will have to create the variables that's there. One for the hiring manager, one for the department, and then another one for business unit. All right, so this will help us in getting the information. Just for the benefit of everyone, it's not nothing different. It's the same call that we pasted on the browser. It's the same kind of endpoint that we got it from the getting the records itself, right? So we got the information from SAP SuccessFactor as well. That means our job 2 is also done. That was getting the job requisition details. The next thing that we want to do is get job applications for requisition. All right. So for getting the job applications for requisitions, right? And this is not like we are querying for a job application with job application ID. We are actually querying the job application based on a filter, which means we are looking for job applications where the requisition ID is 2700, which is what we did the information extraction for. So for that, instead of using get record, wherein you get only one record, if you want to get all the records of application, you can go ahead and do a search. And this is sorry, my mouse. Give me a second. Yeah. So I can search for this record, right? Obviously, I'll have to verify. So we can search for this particular job application. Again, we are going to use for the category as recruiting. Now the section changes to job application. We can search for job application, and the options that I get for searching for job application, because uh, uh, there are like multiple things that can happen. If I just run this, it'll list all the job application that is part of the SAP SuccessFactor. But we want to limit it to our own purpose, which is what we are going to do by providing a filter criteria. And that filter criteria is going to be related to the job requisition ID, right? So let me quickly do that. Where do I put the filter? First of all, let's give it a shot whether it works. I have this. Let me do a test. All right, so the search results are out. We get all these things, and you must be wondering, where did I get that job requisition ID itself? So what I did first was I ran it without this particular one, and I wanted to see what are the parameters that is available to me. I mean, you can read the documentation, but I feel this is how generally any developer would do. So I did the search, and I figured out from the parameters that is available that I also have something called job requisition ID, where the job requisition ID is coming up. So I filtered it according to this one, so that all this remains the same, right? Sorry. Okay, I'll do it as done. And please bear in mind that sample value is used for design time testing. If you want to use it at runtime by the robots, you have to fill the value piece of it. Okay. So this will filter all the job applications that is coming in for the job requisition ID 2700. And after this, let me see if we have covered one of the aspects. Yes, get job application for the requisition. The next thing that I want to do is I want to filter the job application for onboarding candidates, right? So the candidates that are cleared for onboarding. And for that, let me also do another search, because I want to know exactly how I can look for status. right? Status also has its own ID, and I don't know that ID at the moment. So if I want to know exactly what is the application status that we are going to look for, I can go to the recruiting CM. We are going to the job application. We are going to the job application status, if it is there. Yes. Okay. So I can go in here. I'm not going to provide any filter for this one. Let me just do a simple run. And I got this, right? And if you see the app status name, this is something that appears in your SAP SuccessFactor on various screens, not necessarily only on the page that we are looking for. In various screens for various statuses, this is where it is. It's kind of like an enum within the SAP SuccessFactor. Okay, so here I want to locate where is onboarding, right? So let me go down and down and down and down. Yep. So this was the onboarding one. That's where I know that app status ID is 16. So obviously I can go ahead and do a filter and I can get this particular thing out, but this is not going to change over time. That's what it is. But you can go ahead and do this, but since it is not going to change dynamically, I can directly use that particular value for filtering, right? And I can save on one of the API calls. So I can delete this. And instead of this, I can put something like filter data table. And once I put in here, I obviously have a filter wizard. I want to remove all the items where, let me see, this was the column name. I have it copied. I'm not a memory wizard. I have all these things copied so that I can do it quickly. And then there is not equals to, and the value is going to be 16, which was the status. So we are going to remove anything which is not onboarding. I don't care which status it is. And that's how we will get the value out. Search record should have its own output. I forgot to get the output on here. DT job applications. And then in here, while filtering, we will have that as input, DT job application. And then we will have output as DT. Okay, I have to create DT onboarding candidates, maybe. Okay, candidates with single S, not two. Okay, all right, so I should get the candidates by now if I have to run this. And with that, let me just dump it in a workflow file so that I can demonstrate that to you. Give me a second. I want to add the headers. Let me name it as demo.xlsx and then DT onboarding candidates. All right. All right. So finger crossed, if everything is right, I should be able to run this to get the exact candidates. All right. It's connecting to the SuccessFactors scope, which means it is connecting to the instance it connected. All right. I did some mistake. Let me see what I did. Okay. All right, there are no fields here. Weird. Give me a second. Obviously, let me do this. Recruitment, job requisition, and then Okay, that's weird. Let me see. Can I do this? Okay, there is something wrong with this particular. I might have to create the metadata again, which will take a bit of time. Give me a second. Recruiting, job requisition. Let me see, job requisition, where are you? Okay, uh, one last time. This is the one. Okay, I'll have to refresh the metadata for that. Give me a second. So it's going to take some time. Refreshing metadata is heavy work that happens. So it is going to take a bit of time.
No worries, Anupaf. Just refresh it. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
This way it's more realistic. So I'll take this occasion to tell everyone that if they have any more questions, please list them in chat. So we will address them one by one in the end. And then we'll also.
All right. So, Christina, can we take a couple of questions in the meantime?
Yeah, of course we can. So.
All right.
Yeah, we have like a question from Mufadal, who apparently is with another company in a similar field. He's asking, how can you automate entire HRMS on WhatsApp, like getting leave approved or salary certificate?
Sorry, I did not get the question correctly, I think.
How can you automate entire HR management systems on WhatsApp, like getting leave approved or salary certificate? This is the question.
On WhatsApp.
Yes, the question is about integration with both
WhatsApp.
SAP and WhatsApp.
He's asking like his.
All right. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Can I integrate? Yeah. Okay.
I think we can do that as well. Basically, then there will be another component for the chatbots that you will have to create, so that you can get that agent created for the WhatsApp agent, and basically that will be your starting point. That is from there you will get your inputs for your workflows. It'll run, it'll produce the output, and similar way the chatbot that you create, and it could be Druid that is within UiPath itself, or you can use Choreo.ai, or you can use Dialogflow, whatever it is. That will act as your delivery mechanism between your robots and your WhatsApp agent.
Okay. So I hope, Mufadal, that answered your question. If not, you can write in chat and we'll come back to this at the end. Also, Zeliko is asking, like, I think he's asking whether experience is needed in extracting data from different CV documents using AI document understanding.
Again, I'm lost. Is it just related to the CV?
Yeah, I think I asked him to clarify the question, but he did not. So Zeliko, if you can clarify, he was like, the question he listed was experience in extracting data from different CV documents using AI document understanding. So that's what I thought.
Okay, so in terms of your Experience, yes, obviously you will need some understanding of how the AI center works or how the models work to get those things. But overall, it's still easier than working with programming languages. I can say that.
Okay, so Zeriko, if you feel like this did not answer your question, please clarify in chat and we'll address it again. Also, John Kunz wants to know what version of Studio are you using and whether the activities are the same in 2021.4.
Yes, the activities are going to be the same for 2021.4 or anyone, because these are activity set and not tightly binded to anything. You can download this and you can actually use it. So it should not be a problem.
Okay, and Dave, we have a question from Dave. Like, do you have examples of updating Employee Central as insert record has very few components to use?
Not at the moment, but we can definitely look into it and we can publish something on the community for you to consume.
Okay, so Dave, I will leave the community links at the end. And
if you have a use case in mind, please ping us on the chat, and probably Christina, you can pass that along to me and Tanya, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, of course. And I will leave, actually, I will leave now my address in the chat because the winner of the quiz will need it too. And Dave, for the use case also, you can use this address and we can clarify it and send it over. Okay, so these are the questions so far that we had. If any more will be coming, I will let you know.
All right, so with that, we are also through the first hurdle, the get record that was causing an issue. Hopefully everything else goes well. So my metadata actually expired. I told you that the object had to be kept updated. I changed some permissions while demonstrating it. So that's why I needed to update the metadata as well. Okay, with that, the run is complete. Right, let me see if I can open the demo piece from here. We should have two folks, right? And one should be Tyler Ross. I see the last name here already, and I see the first name. Can I see that? So these are all the informations that that the object actually contains. And let me do a control F because I know it's there. Just that, okay, known as, and then first name. So first name is Tyler. And similarly, you can see the Luke Carter is also here. So Luke is here, and that's what it is. So these two guys are actually the one that we were targeting for the onboarding piece. If I can bring that screen up. Yes, sir, keep working. We have the onboarding to Luke Carter and Tyler Ross, and these are the folks that we wanted to add to the Active Directory. With that, let me do a final run, and after that we can get into the final Mentimeter question for prices. Okay, this is end to end that is going to run, which means that it is going to add the user in the Active Directory. Let me open the Active Directory as well. These guys are going to be added into their own offices. There is a Chicago office and there is a New York office. This is based on the city from where they are, purely dynamic. And then they are going to be added on the Slack channels as well. For that, let me just get to the Slack channel mode. All right, so I'll bring the Slack up once we are there. Let me just start running it. All right, so it is getting the details the way it did on a singular run. Uh, all right, getting the hiring manager, getting the department, getting the business unit. Hiring manager will be used for creating the Active Directory, the manager, the right manager, and then getting department and business unit is something that will be used in creating the Slack channels, apart from filling the Active Directory details. It got the job applications right now. And then let me just scroll down. Yep. So it should start filling on the Active Directory. Okay. It's getting the Active Directory. It created the users. And the best part is this is completely running on the background. You can have the another robot that works on the foreground in front, and it can run in parallel as well. So it is not a blocking process. You can create a background process out of it because it is not going to use any of the UI automation thanks to the native integration that we have. And it is true for all the three pieces: Active Directory, Slack, and the SAP SuccessFactors, of course. All right, so the Active Directory addition is completed. Let's see if it is able to get there as well. Okay, created the user, forcing password change, adding the user, creating Active Directory, onboarding Slack has started. Right, so I have to authorize because he's going to work on my behalf, the robot. Okay. All right. It has added to it. It is creating the other user. I think we should be able to close on the dot, Christina. I think we that particular small thing has pushed it to the boundary. All right. So in the meantime, let me show you quickly that the user has been added in the Active Directory. If I go ahead and see the properties, it should have all the information: telephone number, city, what else, member of, it has production US and United States. That's what the order of the thing was. And then let me see what else. Okay. Where do I see that? Organization, maybe? Yeah, the manager is Jada Baker, because she was the hiring manager as well. And for Chicago as well, we have a new candidate, Luke Cato. If I go ahead in the properties, again, the same thing, all the details are there. The members of the production US and United States have been added automatically. And then if I go to the organization tab, where are you? Right. So you will see the manager has been added as well. If I go back on the Slack channel, let me see. All right, let me bring the Slack channel up. Give me a second. Okay, all right, so we have two channels. One is for the product. You will see that both of them have been added right now. Similarly for production US, we have both of them added right now. And then we have production on, then United States, yes. In this one as well, they will be added. And similarly, they have been provided provided with an onboarding guide. If I show you right now, so this was sent. The onboarding guide was sent automatically by the robot, and then same for Tyler Ross. The onboarding guide was set. So that's pretty much it from the presentation perspective, how the robots are going to work, how they are going to help you in the complete onboarding journey. And with that, let me open the Mentimeter once again, and let us continue with the journey that we were on. All right. So folks who have logged out can log in again quickly so that we can come to the result of it. We can know who is the winner. Menti.com. Again, the code remains the same, 5694883. All right. I see.
I think we have 23 in the Menti now.
Yes, 24, 25.
I just posted the link and the code in the chat, so they should be able to join easily now.
Yep, yep. Thank you so much. 27, 28. Come on. Get back to the number that was there. Let's have the complete competition again.
It was like 35, no? Last time.
Yes,
The full
yes.
number at the beginning.
All right. Don't decrease. Come on. add to it. Okay. 27. Are we going with 27? Okay. I see 28. Again, just for the benefit of everyone, menti.com and then the code. A code is pasted on the chat. You can copy it from there. Yes, we are up with 30, 31. Okay. 32. All right. Going once, going twice, and let's start with the questions.
Okay.
All right. Answer fast to get the more points. Okay. Which of the following authentication type is supported by SAP SuccessFactors? Trick question. No authentication needed. You can get hacker code from Anonymous, or it's basic authentication, and the last option is JWT token. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay. No, there is authentication is always needed for any kind of enterprise application. Please bear that in mind. We have two kind of authentication. One is the API key, and another one that we had demonstrated today was username and password, which is called basic authentication. Good try though. And then we can go to the next question, the last one. Bear in mind, it looks easy. It could be tricky. The last question. So keep that in mind. Okay. Again, answer as fast as you could, but being right is also important. The question is on your screen. To get all job applications for an ongoing requisition, you'll use Get Record activity, Search Record activity, you will ask your friend in HR, or you will use Insert Record activity. To get all job applications for an ongoing requisition, you will use Get Record activity, Search Record activity, and time's up. All right, 14 folks were paying a lot of attention in the session. Awesome. With that, we are coming to the end of the Mentimeter questions as well. Let's see the final leaderboard. Awesome. Let's see if it is going to change.
Oh.
Oh, there is a flip.
Yes.
There is a major flip. A user called M has got it. M, that's not enough information. We want to provide you with the goodies. So if you can contact
Mustafa.
Christina.
Yeah, it's Mustafa. He just wrote, Mustafa Benson is the winner.
Congratulations, Mustafa. Christina, I think you can do the needful from here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'll stop sharing my screen quickly as well, because I know Christina has something to share as well.
Yeah. So let me write again my address here, but Mustafa can contact me for the voucher. Okay. And anyone else who wants to share LinkedIn profiles to connect with the others in the meeting, please do so. Just let me see. Okay, now I will share my screen. Okay, share. And I think everyone can see the slides now on my screen. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So this is like, I will share afterwards in chat the links too. This is an overview of our technology integration series. This was the last episode, the last session in this series. So as you can see, we had 5 sessions in this series so far. They were all amazing sessions with really high registration and attendance and also interaction. You will have this recording available the latest tomorrow, but you can also check all the others in our event page on community.uipath.com. And the recordings are already up for the other sessions, sessions like on ServiceNow, on Salesforce, and all the others. So I hope you will check and share if your peers are interested, maybe. And also, this is a bit of our community. Just I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. Like what you will find if you join, and I think you already joined actually because you're in the platform. But this is an overview of what we are hosting now on community.uipath.com. So of course you will have links to Academy and the forum. And for the use case that you mentioned earlier and contribution to use cases, we also have a use case repository on forum now, and we also have the components in marketplace. And I will share those links in chat as well. The community events is the page where you will see like global series such as this one was with technology integrations, and also all the local meetups that we hold in all our chapters across the world. Blogs and tutorials and our programs, which are automation champions, MVPs, and chapter leaders who take care of our local communities around the world. So I really hope you enjoy this session so far. I will try to share now the other, like the link to forum. I think it's really good for this session to join the forum. And of course, the main link. And the marketplace link, which is also good for components and everything you might want to find and use there. And yes, I think Dave or John, who was it? Yeah, John, about the cases and the use, you can still place that question in the email and we'll get back about, yes, we will also share the slides. So I see Sylvia was asking us a question. So in the follow-up email, you will get the recording and also the slides from the session. You can share and distribute them in the company or to other interested peers. And I really hope you enjoyed this session today. If there are any more comments, you can send me on email or like any other things you would like in follow-up or ideas for next sessions. Or if there is a message you would like to send to one of our speakers, of course, you can do that too. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Anupap. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah. Okay. I think we can close it now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, take care.
Bye.